안녕하세요. 토크살롱 시청자 여러분. 오늘은 2024 뉴스킨 이스트 라이브에 참석하고 계신 세계적인 미래학자 마이클 월시를 모셨는데요. 국내에는 알고리즘 리더의 저자로도 잘 알려져 있습니다. 로봇, 자동화, 알고리즘. 이렇게 AI로 이전과는 다르게 놀라운 속도로 변하고 있는 우리 사회에서 어떤 리더의 모습이 필요한지 마이클 월시와 함께 들어보도록 하겠습니다. Hello, Mike.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Oh, I'm so great to see you. So I am so glad to present you to my Korean audience today. Well, you are the futurist and the CEO of tomorrow. Wow, what a great name. So interesting. So could you introduce yourself?
I am a futurist, and what that means is I spend most of my time trying to understand not just new technologies, new innovations, but specifically how leaders and organizations can use those technologies to reinvent themselves. And that's really what I do with my company tomorrow. But also, as you've mentioned, I've written 3 books. The most recent is The Algorithmic Leader, How to Be Smart When Machines Are Smarter Than You. And really what this book is about is what can leaders in corporations do today to prepare themselves for the world that's coming in the next 10 years.
Let's talk something more about your book. Here I am with your book, The Algorithm Leader. So it's a great name. In these days, it's probably fair to say that we are living in the surrounded by the algorithm. But we don't have a mathematicians here today. So let's go to the words first. What is the algorithm? And why did you choose that words and focus the words in recent days?
It's a really interesting question because when I was writing the book, I originally was thinking, should I call this the AI leader? And the reason why I didn't was because when you talk about artificial intelligence, people think about robots, and they think about machines, and they think about technologies that are making decisions for them. But the idea of an algorithm is actually very old. Algorithms have been around for maybe 3,000 years. An algorithm is not technology. An algorithm is a recipe. It's a series of steps that you have to follow to go from a problem to a solution. And this has been around for almost as long as people have been around. So the idea of talking about an algorithmic leader, for me, is somebody who is a leader in an organization who looks at a problem and knows how to take it apart and knows how to use technology and data and knowledge to approach it in a more intelligent way. And that's a skill that I think has always been important, but now in this new era of artificial intelligence and robotics, it's become critical for survival.
So you choose that algorithm that words feel like some kind of philosophy or the value that the people, especially the leaders, should choose. Not only to using some of the technology, but also you say that the expression, the recipe. So as you mentioned, nowadays I heard so much lot about generative AI. So how the AI will affect to the labor market, the labor environments, and what are your thoughts on the issue?
You know, the thing about generative AI is that until a few years ago, no one had any real idea what it was. And then with these new chatbots, people were so excited because it was like this magical computer. You could ask a question and get an answer. Then people started to realize that you couldn't always trust the answers. They couldn't understand where the answers were coming from. And you would spend almost as much time checking the answer as doing the work. So what people need to realize is that generative AI is more than just chatbots. It's a system for basically extracting information out of very large data sets. These data sets could be information inside your organization, but they also could be for pharmaceutical companies or life science businesses. It could be a way of finding new molecules or new medicines. For manufacturing or electronics or logistics business, it could be a way of finding patterns in their business and being able to talk to the machines to understand when they're going wrong or maintenance. So generative AI really represents a new way of accessing information. And what people often don't realize is that this is just the beginning of a much bigger revolution. Probably the thing that's going to happen very soon is the rise of autonomous agents, which means all of us will have our own personal AIs that will do tasks for us. So they will they will sit in on meetings, they'll take notes for you, they'll book your doctor's appointments. Maybe even when you can't be bothered being on a Zoom call, they'll be on your call for you. They might even go on dates for you in the future. But they're going to be kind of a personal extension of ourselves. And the other big thing that's going to come as a result of generative AI is much smarter robotics. And I think this is especially interesting for Korea because Korea is already the most automated society in the world. 1 out of 10 of all workers in Korea is already a robot today. So it's incredible. It's more than the United States, more than Japan, more than Germany. This is happening, I think, because of demographic issues in Korea. Also after COVID-19, there was the sense of having to create more, I think they call it untact or contactless services. But this creates a really interesting opportunity for Korea to be a world leader in leveraging automation and robotics to transform not just manufacturing, but service industries, retail, home care. So I think generative AI really represents an opportunity to accelerate a trend that's already here in Korea, which is about the digital transformation of all business. I think Korea has always led the way in many characteristics, but one opportunity where it still has opportunity to grow, I think, is the cultural change. The challenge in Korea is not the technology. It's changing the methodology of how leaders and organizations need to be more flexible, more innovative, more courageous to take risks. And I think this is the area where I think the cultural operating system, not the technological operating system, has to change.
Whoa, okay, so a great idea. And let's go to the final question. And many organizations and the corporate, especially in business area, including today's events, they are very worried about, especially the executives are thinking about how can they using the AI, even in the management area or some operation or some of the products as well. So what is your advice to that C-suite?
AI is a very broad set of tools. At the moment, people now are using generative AI tools like ChatGPT or the tools that are built into Microsoft Word or Excel, and they think that they are using AI. This is not true. It's like that their CIO has put spell check on everyone's desk and says, we now have the power of spell check. This is a generic commoditized service. Everyone has it. It's like an internet browser. If you're like using Google, it doesn't give you a competitive advantage. It's just the way that people work today. So the opportunity, I think, for the C-suite and leaders and organizations is to ask themselves, how can we leverage artificial intelligence to do things we've never done before? It's not enough just to do things a bit faster or a little bit cheaper or maybe 20% less staff. You have to think bigger and bolder about transforming your operating model. What I believe is in the next, at the moment, the companies that are AI companies have been performing very well on the stock market. Companies like NVIDIA or, the suppliers to the big semiconductor factories. But this is just the first phase. In the next 10 years, there will be a difference between not traditional companies and technology companies, but between companies that have leveraged AI to reinvent themselves and those that haven't. So in every category, whether you're in manufacturing or financial services, food service, or logistics, there will be some companies and some leaders who use AI to completely change the way they create value. And I think some of your clients can be these companies. And the others who don't do this, they may not survive.
I see. I fully agree that your opinions. Very thank you for the sharing the ideas today, and I'm very proud to recommend you to my clients.
It'd be wonderful.
네, 오늘은 이렇게 미래학자이자 투모로우의 대표인 마이클 월시를 모시고 AI가 바꾸는 우리 미래에 대한 가능성과 전망에 대한 이야기를 나눠보았습니다. 미래를 완벽하게 준비하는 것은 불가능하지만 한 발 앞서 그 가능성을 대비한다면 더 큰 성공과 결과를 가지고 올 수 있을 것입니다. 미래가 궁금하다면 또 어떻게 준비해야 될지 염려가 되신다면 마이클 월시를 만나보시죠. 감사합니다.